fire from the hole. I got this new camera, so I'm like trying to figure out like where to place it. So it's like one of those like AI ones where it's like it should track where you're going.
Oh, I've seen those on TikTok and stuff lately. I know a lot of the big content creators are like they're posting. I'm sure they're in like TikTok shop and stuff too, but yeah, they're posting those. Interesting. Have you tested it out? Is it actually tracking with you? I know we're kind of small right now.
It's weird because they'll just reframe. I don't want it to track me personally.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
I don't want that.
Yeah.
But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Built to Rise podcast, where we are building the next generation of trades. On this week's episode, we have Smith, right? Wyatt Smith.
Yes,
Wyatt
sir.
Smith
Wider.
from good old cheese country, Wisconsin. Moved to Dallas recently. Wyatt, thanks for being on, man. Really appreciate you being here.
Yeah, man. Thanks. I appreciate the great intro, and I feel the love. I feel the warm welcome, so I really appreciate it.
Hell yeah,
Dude, it's so funny.
Can
I really
we
don't
talk about?
Sorry,
Can
I
we
was
talk
gonna
about
say
the
no.
cheese?
People don't say Wisconsin. Typically, everybody knows me in the office as being from Texas, so I do appreciate the Wisconsin shout out, 100%.
Yeah, shout out to the Cheeseheads. You know, even though you guys had a very memorable exit with the Chicago Bears. You know, I don't know if you saw that, but they had like cheese graters for the headgear. It was honestly hilarious. As a
The
Patriots fan, I was laughing. I'm like,
the
yeah,
lore there goes deep. It does. The rivalry there growing up was pretty cool to be a part of. See, I grew up in the Brett Favre era, right? When Aaron
yeah,
Rodgers like first came on board, and I actually moved into like basketball and watching NBA around that time
hmm
when I was like maybe 11, 12, I think, 13ish, maybe.
yeah,
But good time to grow up. I mean, come on, Brett Favre,
yeah.
like prime Packers.
Oh yeah, dude. Easily one of the better Packers, better Packer quarterback. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm a big Brett Favre guy. Huge Brett Favre guy.
Yup.
But why? Let's get right into it, man. Obviously, you're from Wisconsin, moved to Dallas, so kind of let's open it up, right? Let's start in good old Wisconsin. You know, a little bit about yourself. How'd you get into the trades? And then we'll talk a little bit about your career, your move to Dallas, and then your career from there.
Beautiful. So 26, I'm aging quickly. It feels like yesterday I graduated high school, and that I was leaving northern Wisconsin. So born and raised there from birth to the end of high school there. So super far north, almost to Michigan, about an hour away from Lake Superior. So pretty far in the boonies, so to speak. But we kind of grew up going to Minneapolis, grew up going to Madison, southern Wisconsin area. So um, but was being a small town, wasn't raised in, it was like a 10,000 population town year round. Big tourist destination, so you get a lot of the Chicago, Minneapolis guys in the summer. um, we probably go from 10,000 year round to about, I think people say over 100, like 100 to 150, give or take, during the 3 months, June, July, August there. But pretty slammed area in the summer, so lots of stuff to do on the water, outside, lots of stuff going on there. Um, but was always exposed to small business and trades through just kind of being growing up in a small town. You're not gonna have a lot of big names. You're not gonna have those big players that everybody knows. So I mean, growing up in and around either our buddy's dad who was a plumber, or our buddy's dad who was an electrician, or buddy's dad who owned a landscaping company, stuff like that. And they would be like 20 plus year owners, with the whole town in their book, type thing. So that was, not realizing it, having that early exposure was actually really fruitful coming into my current role now. So yeah, so born and raised in northern Wisconsin, ended up making the move to the North Texas area in around 2017 there, toward the end. And kind of jumped around, didn't really have any sort of plan in place. Kind of I didn't really want to go the college route. I wasn't the best student in high school, as I don't know, a lot of guys my age, they either, showed up, they at least showed up, but maybe didn't get the best grades, but I being brutally honest, I messed around a lot junior year, but not sure what your guys' story in high school was or how smooth your guys' was, but
I mean, for me, I try not to remember high school that much. I generally
fair.
don't. I try
Just
not to
block it out.
remember it. Yeah.
Just
I
black
mean,
it out.
not gonna lie. Yeah. I mean, it was a good time. You know what I mean? I was young, I had no responsibilities at the time.
Yep.
But me and Alex also went to the same high school, so we could probably, we definitely had two different. I think we both probably had two different 4 years. But
Fair.
I was pretty much that guy who was like, tried to fit in, but it didn't really end up the way it did. So my senior year, I literally I was like, yeah, fuck all y'all. Like, I don't give a damn. I'm gonna do me, and that's it. FieldPulse understands that no two service businesses run the same. That's why they built the only truly customizable field service management software out there. FieldPulse has just released the newest suite of workflow features called ClearPath, and it's changing the game for service teams. With ClearPath, you can build custom job stages that fit how your team actually works. From the first call to the final invoice, everyone knows exactly what's next. No confusion, no missteps. You actually get to decide your workflow, unlike other software that backs you into their workflow. FieldPulse keeps the office and the field in sync with clear, step-by-step responsibilities that help prevent delays and miscommunication. Whether you're installing glass, servicing HVAC units, maintaining septic systems, FieldPulse keeps every workflow moving the way you want it to. If you're ready to make your workflows your competitive advantage, see FieldPulse in action. Book a free demo at fieldpulse.com and start building workflows that work for you.
Well, I hate to admit that I was kind of the same way. I always felt a little bit out of place, and I would enjoy going to the cities. I always had different aspirations that, come full circle now, 8 years after graduating. I don't want to buy a house in the city. I don't want to live in the city. I want to be in a small town. I want to go back. It takes growing up to realize that, of course, but
yeah. No, hey, I'm on the same boat, man. Like, I lived in the city for pretty much the last 30 years. And when I say I want to move out, I do want to move out. I want to move somewhere quiet, dead end street, cul-de-sac, where nobody can bother me. I think the only thing that can bother me is probably deers, maybe some turkeys, and that's about it.
How bad? How bad would that be?
Well,
if
I had a garden, I'd be pretty fucking pissed if you ask me.
I'm not gonna lie. That's an issue. That's the thing.
And Alex knows. Alex had a garden when he was living here in Massachusetts as well. So he knows about like how prestigious a garden is. So.
Do you guys have like whitetail roaming around up there? Is that like
I think so? Yeah,
pretty the same as Wisconsin, I would imagine.
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. A lot of whitetails. Definitely in.
Do you guys have anything crazy up there? Y'all don't have like moose or anything up there, right?
No.
Like y'all. Okay, well, yeah. To be fair, I am like geographically challenged when it comes to like the Northeast. So I've never been. First of all, I've never been to the East Coast. Like first and foremost, never been to the Northeast as well. So it's on my bucket list to do a whole trip all the way through Rhode Island, Maine. That's where my mind was like Maine, Rhode Island, like close to Canada. I'm like, no, there ain't no moose in Boston.
No, so. not in Massachusetts. I don't think. Yeah. I don't think there's any moose sightings there. But if you do come to Massachusetts, you gotta go to Boston. Obviously, you gotta try the North End Italian restaurants. Have to.
Dude,
the absolute number one best. I guarantee it.
Well, I mean the history too. I mean, come on, it's like one of 13 colonies up there. I mean, just the history of the U.S. I mean, super fascinating.
I'm just happy that I'm in the city general area. I got to witness 18 banners got put up from like 4 different teams. I think something like that. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I am blessed to be in that era, and I'm blessed to be in a state where I can be like, yep, that's I'm part of history at that point.
Best NBA teams ever. Yep,
easily.
Straight up.
But so from North Wisconsin to North Dallas now, what was the biggest culture shock for you? Like when you finally made the move?
Wow, that is a great question.
Yeah,
I will say, Drew, I tend to draw more similarities than differences, honestly. Texas definitely has that Southern comfort the Southern hospitality feel. I mean, everybody's kind, and like to be fair, Texas has changed in the last 20 years. You got a lot of people that aren't necessarily born and raised in Texas that are coming, from New York, Florida, California, all over. So different, all walks of life that are coming in and coexisting. And I will say the city culture is it feels kind of cold, maybe a little bit
Mm,
versus like a small town. And that's like maybe like the most glaring kind of observation that I've taken away is that I'd say instead of holding the door open for every single person you see and, making eye contact and engaging with every person you come across and, greeting them and asking how their day is, and like making small talk with cashiers, stuff like that. But kind of taking something out of the small moments, I would say is like what, small town folks are all about. The little things count. And it's like those small town things, like just basic manners, and kind of basic
yeah.
human engagement. I would say, and that goes for every city. I wouldn't say it's specific to Texas, anywhere in Texas, but no, I'd say there's way more opportunity here. I'd say there wasn't a whole lot going on in northern Wisconsin. People are happy. They're in nature, and there's no congestion, and you know there's no traffic, but not a lot of stress. But also, how am I going to make a buck? How am I going to build? So
Yeah.
it's trade offs for sure.
Yeah. Is everything bigger in Texas, or is that just the
Dude,
same?
yeah, straight up. It
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
100%. Yep. And I mean, that goes like in every direction, like good and bad, I will say. Like the
What's
highways, bro. So, okay. Like I was thinking crazy. I was thinking like, I was thinking like
I'm over here
people
thinking
more.
like they have 20-pound steaks. That's like a normal thing for them. I think food wise, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
But
So I mean, just like classic American portion size, but I mean like that's the thing. Like we're foodies. Like Dallas folks, Houston folks, Austin folks, they're foodies. They go hard on the barbecue. They go hard on they just go hard on Tex-Mex. Can't go wrong with Tex-Mex. So like between barbecue and Tex-Mex, like you will not go hungry in Texas for
mm,
sure. I always
I
have
love that.
leftovers everywhere I go. But like American portions are tight anyway. They're on point.
Yeah, that's true. So before you so obviously you work at FieldPulse now. We'll get
Yes,
into
sir.
that in a little bit. But you worked before you got into FieldPulse, you worked in the restaurant business, am I correct? Yeah, so you worked in the restaurant business. I also can relate to that as well. I've worked in the restaurant business for a little over 10 years, so I could definitely relate to you. Um so what was that like? Were you were you the back of the house? Were you the front of the house? Like what back of the house?
So that's a great question. Both, a little bit of both. So
Okay.
I started as a dishwasher. Okay, actually, way back, there's a sushi place in my hometown, right? We had a guy who's still my current friend, my buddy Andrew. We're gonna name drop Kobe Sushi in northern Wisconsin. If anybody's ever visiting Minocqua, Wisconsin, definitely go check out Kobe Sushi. It's the best
How do you
sushi you'll
spell
get.
that? Is it Kobi?
Kobe, like Kobe Bryant.
Oh,
Yep.
like Kobe Bryant. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. So he moved up from one of the cities about an hour away from us when I was like 10, 11, 12. And I
Mhm.
befriended him and actually ended up helping his parents out a couple summers when I was like 12, 13. So, I mean, it wasn't, I wasn't like on a W-2 or anything, but I was just helping out around the kitchen, doing dishes, mostly doing dishes, but running food, cleaning tables, bussing tables. That was a big part of it. And that led me into, when I was 14, was able to get the worker's permit, in Wisconsin. Um, I just went right to the restaurant that my brother grew up working at, which was just a small brewing like brew house slash restaurant, I
Like
guess. Like,
okay.
it's called Monaco
Like a
Brewing
tavern.
Company. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly. So they were there for like 10, 20 years. They were there before I was born, and they were there for a little bit after I left, and then they ended up selling and like actually completely the new owner like absolutely tanked the place, which is
Oh.
really sad. He kind of tarnished the name, which sucks. But started dishwashing there. I spent a couple summers just in the back, and then I wanted to bus and I just didn't want to do it there. So I honestly can't remember. There's so many blurred lines at this point. I can't remember where I ended up next because it was probably at this point probably 5 or 6 different restaurants in that Minocqua area
Yeah.
specifically. But went from dishwashing, so back of house to front of house, started bussing, and then through probably 13, 15, 16, I was bussing, and then ended dishwashing. Dishwashing, bussing, dishing. Ended dishing when I was like 17, 18, graduated high school, did the last summer there up north, dishing at the boathouse, which I think is still there, actually.
Mm.
But ended up coming down here after high school, and I was like, all right, well, I'm not enrolled in school. I'm not, I don't have a restaurant job. I don't have a job. I'm just going to be moving in with my folks because they moved down here. They moved down here right when I graduated. And then
Oh,
what I
okay.
did was I finished my summer up there, wanted to hang out with the boys, spend one last summer with everybody and kind of have one last hoorah. So I stayed with a buddy of mine that I worked with. So it was a banger last summer, man. It was so fun. Like my parents gave me one of the cars, and they only needed one vehicle because they only one of them worked at the time when they moved down here originally. So got to have the car for the summer. That was great. It was like the first bit of freedom that I ever had, as a young adult. So that was a great summer before moving down to Texas, and then moved down here, kind of started to work at like a couple random places. I think I was at Starbucks for like 2 weeks. I was at Target for like a month. I actually really liked Target, but I ended up just being a stupid 18-year-old and like not showing up one day and then just never, picked it
Just
back
never
up.
again.
Yeah, just never picked it back up. Did like a month of community college down here. Ended up not going to class anymore at one point, and then really just majorly bust at spent a couple years at Dave and Buster's. Actually made some pretty good money. I'm not gonna lie. I was making like 50K back in like 2018 bussing, and it was crazy because I just worked a lot and I worked really long hours. So my Olive's going crazy down here. My golden retriever.
Oh yeah, shout out to Oliver.
I don't know if
Charlie.
I don't know if I can get her on There we go.
Hi, Oliver.
This is Olive. Say hi.
That's a red golden, man.
Oh yeah, she's super red.
Gorgeous.
Appreciate it. I hope this
my
goes
dog
back
my
here.
dog's passed out on the couch right now, so he's just living
I will
his
say
best
she's a
life.
pup. She's a pup. She's got that puppy energy still. She's just about to turn 2. So
Nice. Oh yeah, dude, it's awesome.
a journey.
So you did all these jobs, and then so when did you actually first start with like FieldPulse? Which, by the way,
I actually
before you go crazy, I would like
Sorry.
to thank FieldPulse. I would like to thank FieldPulse for supporting us always. You guys are the best, and thank you very much for letting Wyatt be on. Wyatt has his hoodie on too, so shout out to FieldPulse. Thank you guys so much. But yeah, how'd you kind of get into FieldPulse? Was it like, was it something that like really like piqued your interest, like CRM softwares and everything like that, or was that just something like, "Oh, I'm just gonna shoot my shot and hope for the best"?
That's a good question. That's a great. These are all great questions, by the way. Like you're making it super easy to just kind of riff and just rattle off answers and have a good conversation.
Yeah, I have I got a few podcasts under my belt, so I think I
could tell. Yeah, I could tell. Absolutely. So no, that's a great question. So yeah, restaurant experience led into customer support naturally because I got to a point when I was like 21, 22, I just didn't want to be in a restaurant anymore. And I was like, you know what? I'm really good with people. I'm really good at serving people and making people happy and listening and just really quickly like knowing the solution just immediately. So I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'm better served in more of like a corporate setting where I'm like answering the phones and maybe filling out tickets for help and support lines or whatever. So I actually dabbled in that for a while. My last position in that was at Cinemark. I spent just under 8 months at Cinemark at their corporate office just up the street from me. And I was a guest services agent for them for a little while before I started here. And so I was loving it. I honestly did like it. It was great. I didn't make as much money as I would have liked to. And there was definitely a path to move forward and maybe become a manager, but it was like a 5-year path, and I just wasn't about to spend the next 5 years to make $60,000 in my at 22, 23, 24. So one day, actually, someone from FieldPulse actually just reached out to me, and I was lucky enough to find myself a quick meeting having been set up with the talent coordinator there, who's actually now she's the director of HR. She's like, she oversees everything, all the, you know, incoming talent and all that. Her name's Hannah. So she was wonderful. She reached out to me and she thought I would have been a great fit for, at the time, what was a customer success role. So for FieldPulse, what customer success looks like is you're the direct point of contact for our subscribers, right? So I'm a plumber. I come in, I buy FieldPulse software to streamline my business, and I'm saying, hey, no, this error is popping up. This invoice isn't sending, or they said they paid this invoice and it's not paying. Wyatt, do you know what's going on? So I'm talking boots on the ground, like onboarding, implementation, adoption, and success of the software. That is the name of the game, and that was my day job. So anywhere from on CS, we would have anywhere from about 100 to maybe 180, 190 clients in our book. And obviously, we're not talking to every one of them every day. But, you know, we would have essentially weekly, bi-weekly, monthly cadences with these guys. And, you know, we would be pretty much the direct point of contact for them to adopt the software and hopefully use it to the best of their ability and get the maximum value out of it. But that was really just a great use of my kind of people skills that have sort of developed and kind of manifested over the last like 8 to 10 years of being in restaurant, just being around people, understanding their needs, understanding how to satisfy and really just get to the solution quick. And just, there's no, you know, I've always got that, like in restaurant, I don't know, Tiago, if you were like if you got time to lean, you got time to clean guy, but that was me.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
I was a sous chef, so I kind of had to like implement that shit. So,
fair.
you know, if you have, bro, 100%. If you're
just go above and beyond, man.
Yeah, dude, it's like that accountability factor. You know what I mean? I think that carries over with every job. I think what I call it is like 200% accountability. You know, you're accountable of yourself and you're accountable of your coworkers. 200% accountability is something I strive for. Definitely.
Absolutely.
100%.
Yep. Makes a man, dude. I mean, it's like, you
totally
could see it. I mean, I'm sure you witnessed it a million times working in the restaurant. You would see people that were just, they hate, you could tell they weren't trying to be there. Right. Versus you're like,
not just only the restaurant too. When I was
yeah,
100%. Yeah, dude, like you see it through everyday lives. You know what I mean? Like from, you know, when I was working in the restaurants, I saw line cooks, I saw waiters, and then managers. When I was in plumbing, I saw apprentices, I saw, you know, service managers, you know, customer support.
You just gotta take pride in what you do, no matter what you do. You know, the way you do one thing is everything, or how you do everything. How does that? I'm not sure how that goes.
I don't know where you're going with that one, but it's all good.
It's how you do one thing, or how you do that one thing is how you do everything. It's a saying. I don't know.
It's like Alex man
seems to know.
Alex, do you know?
Am I crazy?
I got you guys. I got you. No, I got you. Sorry, there's just like loud ass construction outside, so I'm trying to keep my mic muted.
No, you're totally fine. Yeah, you're totally fine.
So obviously you got into FieldPulse, right? So what was it? So I guess my question, right, is one is your first official job title there was, I guess, customer service representative or something like that?
So yeah, so it was customer success like specialist is essentially the title, yeah.
And did you expect everything that role was going to be when you first walked in, or was it like half and half?
Dude, that's a good question. Honestly, I was a bit nervous because I didn't have any experience in customer success, like having accounts assigned to my name, being responsible for like the lifeline and the timeline of their entire subscription and life with us. So honestly, I thought that I was biting off more than I could chew. And I thought it was a pretty big risk. And I wanted to just kind of take a leap of faith and say, hey, you know, my people skills are there. I'm smart enough to pick up pretty much any skill, you know, that has software involved. I'm 26. If I can't learn it, what am I doing? You know, I'm like, what am I really doing? I would say, honestly, yes and no, just because in startups, you really you can never put your finger on anything. Nothing's ever going to be consistent. Like 1 month is going to be slammed. 1 month might be absolutely dead. And then, you know, one meeting you might have, or like one month you might have 10 no-shows. Next month, you're going to have 50 people reaching out to schedule a meeting. You know, it never looks the same. And I think I actually embraced that. I ended up just really embracing the chaos, which was actually like something my brother told me to lean into a long time ago, because he, getting into startups, he's been in and out. I've been in and out of different startups. And it's just embracing the chaos. Nothing's going to be consistent. There's not going to be any processes, but if you can figure it out, it'll work. But
I like that. No. I like that saying. Embrace the chaos. I love that. Kind of just like go head first, hope for the best.
Dude, it's
aim for the moon. What's the saying? Aim for the moon, land in the stars. That's exactly that's how I see it. Yeah.
Yep. 100%.
So what part of the job, like obviously when you became a customer success specialist, what part of that job clicked for you like immediately? Like you got right off the rip, but also was there something that took you like maybe months just to get at least like good at?
Ooh, that's a good one. So I would say the product was probably the biggest hurdle for me. I mean, and that goes for anybody in any software,
and
right?
When you say product, like you mean the FieldPulse CRM?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Okay.
So FieldPulse in and of itself. Yep. So you've got, the ability to schedule, the ability to invoice, you got the ability to track all your customers, your inventory. You have the ability to track all your materials, invoice, take payment, blah, 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 blah. Everything that you could possibly want out of all-in-one kind of system. So it's robust, right? So, I mean, coming in from scratch, it is a lot to pick up, because I mean, man, there was a quote going around that they had developed more inside the software within the last 3 years than they had in the entirety of the whole company's lifeline. So like for 10 years, in the last 3 years, we've built and added more into the software than the whole 10 years, which is just crazy. So
that's impressive.
It is something to jump into, and really you have to just embrace it and just fall into accepting what you don't know. And that's cool. Like, dude, you gotta have an open mind. You gotta want to learn. But I think the people aspect was the easiest thing for me, right? Because I know people, I connect with people. People are easy for me to just fall in, be a chameleon, understand what they need, understand what they're having trouble with, understand their pain points. But I would say, yeah, people were the easiest. And then, really understanding and falling in love with the basics was kind of the hurdle, getting the product, getting the understanding the fundamentals, but can build off of that. So now I'm here, and I'm kind of a product expert, so to speak. But
nice. Hell yeah. Is there a phrase that like, you hear from customers all the time where it's like, you probably heard it like over 100 times. Is there like that one phrase that you just constantly hear, and it's like, it just, maybe, I don't know, maybe it taps into your like CTE, you just kind of like go berserk crazy or something like that, your eye twitches or whatever?
Yeah, actually, dude, yeah, you know what's funny? So my brother also works at FieldPulse. I don't know if I mentioned that.
You did not.
No, so I brought my brother in July. So I started last February. I actually just crossed my year mark like yesterday, which is really cool. So that's
man,
great.
big ups, congratulations, man.
Big dubs.
That's huge.
Big dubs. Yeah, loving it. No, I feel really good. They do huge shout outs and stuff like in our Slack channels, and they make everybody feel real special when they hit their anniversaries and stuff. So it was nice. A good day in office yesterday. They got me a bottle of Woodford Reserve.
Ooh.
But it's dude, it's barrel proof. Barrel select. Ooh. So I'm excited for that.
That's bougie.
But no, keep me on track here.
I was pretty much asking.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The ick. It was something that gives you the. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, like either a customer had said it like thousands of times, or
yeah. So my brother and I were demoing. We were walking through some product stuff today because he claims I'm a product expert, and he's like, "Do you know maintenance agreements?" And he's like, "Can you walk me through maintenance agreements later today so I can understand it for our customers?" So he's on our expansion team that sells into the existing customers. So he's calling existing customers all day trying to sell them more add-ons. So trying to get more value out of the product. And basically we were walking through that, and the common consensus with FieldPulse that we noticed was, or as specifically with the maintenance agreement thing we were going over, we were like, dude, the use of this is huge. I said, you can really get it to work for you if you spend a little bit of time and put some effort into putting the data in there and getting those agreements set up and attached to customers and whatnot. He mentioned, he was like, do they not understand that? And I said, no, they just think it's broken. They come to us and they'll say, this doesn't work. And it's that translation of it doesn't work versus here's how it's intended to work, and here's how you can use it, and here's how you can utilize it and get value out of it. So finding that translation, which was something that I always heard, right, why does it work this way? Would be the saying. And I wouldn't say it drives me crazy by any means, but it's more so like, you got to put yourself in the shoes of the consumer and say, you didn't design this. There's no reason that you should understand what the product like intention was behind this. So I need to step in your shoes and look at this as a brand new consumer that's just buying this for the first time. So that was something that was really common, I would say, is that translation between the trades and new technology in the modern age and like adapting that into their business. Super common.
Yeah, because that seems like a common thing, right? Where it's like in the trades, especially like older guys, it's like they've just been so used to doing things a certain way.
Absolutely.
So introducing technology in general must be like, that seems like a task.
It is a huge ask. And that's the thing. That's why I tended to take a really empathetic approach to it. You got to really put yourself in these guys' shoes. That not only are you dealing with the business owner, right? You may or may not be dealing with like an office admin, daily. And I say dealing, I mean meeting and, working with. So you may or may not have the business owner that's wearing literally 10 hats, right? Like he is in the truck going to a job as he's putting stuff into FieldPulse, as he's taking calls, as he's sending invoices, as he's posting an ad on Meta, and as he's doing whatever else, stocking the truck and updating the inventory in FieldPulse. So when you put yourself in the shoes of that guy for even just 2 seconds, you realize, dude, I'm just a software guy. I don't really matter. Like at the end of the day, if I can't make this super easy for him, he's not going to want to show up. And that's just understanding how people think, and I loved doing that. I fell in love with so many different relationships that I had with customers because of that, because I could really easily just fall into their environment and say, shit, I understand what you guys are going through. Like, this sucks. Like, you wear 10 hats and like you come in at 6 a.m, you don't leave till 7 at night. Like, you want to go home to your wife and kids. Like, dude, screw that. Let me help you build your price book, whatever I could help do, stuff like that. So I think that translation was super, super helpful for our customers. And I will say, one thing FieldPulse does better than I think any other field service management tool, for example, like Service Titan or, House Call Pro. And don't get me wrong, these are great softwares. These do fantastic things. Like Service Titan, absolute giant. They are the monolith. They've got all the market share, and like we're kind of just like, we're not worthy type Wayne's World, thing. But no, they're great. But when you get to that size, it's really difficult to maintain that individual connection from software guy to trades guy, right? And I mean, if I can be there Monday through Friday at the drop of a hat for a business owner, that guy's going to stay all day. He is going to stay every time on that software, right? If you make him feel valued. But that's part of growing, that you really can't get to everybody. It's almost impossible at that scale, getting that big. But that I take pride in that for sure. And I know everybody at FieldPulse does.
And honestly, man, you're kind of uniquely positioned for that because you come from a small town. So it's like those little interactions that you're having, caring about people in your community. It's like, you're kind of the person that you would want in that role, like someone who genuinely cares about those people and wants 100%. Them to do well. Because that plumber who he's doing it for his family and he's serving his, small little community, this little neighborhood with plumbing services. And you're like, man, I want you to succeed. Like, how do I make this as easy as possible for you?
Right.
So is that one of the ways you do it? Is you would like actually go in and kind of like help them with aspects of it, like with their price book or things like that?
Yeah. Yep, 100%. So it was absolutely my job and my role to go in there and make sure that, sometimes there are things you can't save, in certain situations, there are only so many things you can salvage. But to that point, it was absolutely my role and my duty to go in and make sure, if you're having any issues whatsoever, that we address every single issue that you could possibly think up within the software or how you use it. Not only that, but fine tuning it, finding that sweet spot, right? Because we have like a fully configurable workflow from like start to finish of like work order in progress or like estimates sent. Like, you can be as creative as you possibly want, have a 20-step workflow or like a 3-step workflow. So whatever works, and that's the thing, is like, you meet with the guy 3 times, you start to understand more and more how he kind of runs his business and how he might structure that workflow. So really getting into the nitty gritty, getting that comfortability, getting that level of, that loyalty kind of built and established, being like, hey man, I'm here for the long run. Like, yes, if you succeed, I succeed, but like I'm taking it to a personal level and I really do care about you. And yeah, no, and that's the thing is I did that in restaurant. I was just raised that way. You just do the right thing. You do what's, you act with integrity, and naturally good things happen. All the good things typically fall in place. So it's worked. It's worked thus far. But
I love that. And then why I had one more sort of question off of that. So a lot of these guys, in the trades, plumbers, electricians, all those sort of folks, they're wearing a lot of hats. They're doing a lot of things. A lot of them might not even really know what a CRM is or like what it does. Can we kind of break that down? Like, what's the benefit of it? They're already doing so many things. Like, why another piece of technology? Why another job to do? Like I'm a
exactly.
plumber. I'm like, why? Like, what? Like, why do I need this, dude? Like, I already have so much
Exactly.
shit
No,
going
and
on.
that's the question. That is exactly the question. And that's what our sales guys juggle all day, every day. They're like, these guys are like, they're cold calling, and these guys are like, I'm going on a job. Fuck you want? You got 2 seconds.
Right.
I would say, really, from my perspective, the biggest thing is being able to consolidate what you're doing, because you can't avoid technology, right? To some extent, every single one of these business owners is using technology for something, whether that's keeping track of their invoices and their customers in QuickBooks, which is super common. Like 98% of these tradesmen are going to have a QuickBooks account. They're going to have that all set up and built out. Uh, a lot of plumbers or HVAC guys are going to have maybe like a physical price book that they can show their customers that they might have built out for the last 15, 20 years. So we try to bridge those gaps between the traditional method of which they might have been doing it for about 10, 15, 20 years, saying it hasn't really changed. We've just modernized it and put it in one spot, so that instead of juggling 3, 4, 5, I mean, God, in some cases, man, I've met with some of these guys and they have literally 50 tabs open, 40 tabs open. Like, if these guys are running large companies, for example, I have an AV audio business owner that I used to work with, who he basically ran the entire show remotely, and he had several, different project managers that coordinated and led every single project that they worked. But he really wasn't fully hands-on, because he was all remote. And oh my God, dude, when he shared his screen, 80 tabs open, like 80 different things open. And I'm like, I don't even know how. I have like 7, and I have a hard time keeping like mental track,
Right.
So I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know. So that's always been the biggest thing, is not only consolidating what you're doing into one place, right? Because, all these guys got to invoice. They have a customer list. They've got line items. They've got, they've got a need to schedule their guys. And, either they're using a physical calendar in the shop, or they're using Google Calendar, and that's the thing, is you kind of bridge that gap between like kind of starting to use technology and implement it, just like, I wouldn't say half-assed, but like just not fully. You're really like just dipping a toe in, as opposed to just jumping face first into it. Whereas you can have all these things in one place. Great. That's all good and well. But I will say, I think the biggest part is time back, right? That we've seen year over year growth with these guys. And I mean, some of our best customers, some of our largest customers that have been with us for over the last 4, 5, 6 years, I mean, they've grown, right? Like, they've added, 10, 20 techs, some of these guys. And I mean, you see some of these office admins that are saying, hey, I mean, yeah, maybe we took some time to get it set up. Maybe it took a few months, or maybe it even took a year after we got all of our techs onboarded. But after that year, oh man, I'm Monday through Friday, it is a 9 to 5. It's not a 9 to 7. I'm not sitting in the office updating inventory. I'm not sending out invoices or wondering where I'm sending this or where this is going. So I think that's commonly where the benefit comes from. And I will say, that's one thing that is, it's like an unstoppable force meets an immovable object, when you find those specific types of people where they just might be, averted to software solutions in general. And a lot of times you got these guys they're fine without it, and some of those guys, they're there, and they're never going to change, and they're still wildly successful. They might make a crap ton of money and have a lot of customers that are really happy. And the world keeps on spinning, fortunately and unfortunately. We still want their business, but
Staying on the topic of contractors, obviously, since me and Alex we've pretty much grew up in that world. Um, we both know like contractors who are legit the best in the world at what they do. But right, what are and from your experience dealing with contractors like almost every day, what's the top three reasons that contractors can fall behind? You know what I mean? Is it because the lack of CRM? Is it because they don't know technology that well? You know, what's the top three reasons in your personal opinion and your experience?
dude, that's such a good question. It's almost it almost be it almost be I feel like almost ignorant to say it's one thing, and I'd hate to say it's specifically, oh, it's your lack of use in a CRM, or it's your lack of organization. I personally, I think, and this is opinion based for sure, so I won't say objectively, but in my experience, I would say what I've seen and gathered based on who I've worked with, over and like just come into contact with over the last 10 years of my life. I'd say it's a culmination of all of those things, and it really boils down to a personal level. I think it boils down to the person's brain, right? Like you can see it very clearly. A lot of these really, really successful, driven business owners are super similar psychologically. Like they exhibit a lot of the same behaviors and attitudes. I mean, you could say ego, sure, but confidence, but also on the tail end of that, on the other side of that coin, you see a lot of the same similarities with groups that are struggling to pay their techs, that are struggling to keep the lights on and that are really just scraping by. Personally, I have some experience working with a landscaping company formerly, and they were unfortunately victim to exactly that. They ended up they were successful for about 15 years, and the new buyers came in and the old sellers stopped selling because they didn't feel like they were being compensated appropriately. There was some drama, maybe a little bit of politics, but you could tell in the brain type what the motivation level was there, right? And this old owner that was going to be the new seller was checked out. They're checked out. They're demotivated, and at this point, you got a 60-year-old business owner who's ready to sell his book and retire. And that should have been the mindset, right? But you can see that pretty blatantly. It's clear. It's like, and in his case, it's not that he's not a hard worker or anything. He's done. He's put in his 40 years. He's ready to sell his thing and just hang out. So I don't blame him at all, But you see a lot of these similarities, whether it's struggling to stay organized. You might be juggling several softwares. You might be kind of a scatterbrain, and you're like, oh, I didn't schedule this, or I'm like, I have 5 different conversations in one place. And CRMs can help with that, sure. But I will say from personal experience, within FieldPulse, you can lead you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, right? So you can have the best solution in the world, but if you don't have any buy-in or any investment, it's really tough to get any value out of it. So that's where I kind of see that, maybe specifically in the FieldPulse world, kind of being the pain point. Just really jumping first, just feet first into the deep end. Just putting all your eggs in one basket and saying, you know what, we're going to go all in on FieldPulse. We're going to get all our guys ported in on it. We're going to get everybody onboarded, and we're just going to commit. And maybe it may or may not be a perfect fit. No one's going to say everything's perfect for sure, but at least doing that, I would say you'll have, 95% of those guys are going to be super successful and organized and seeing more business, seeing more time back. It's a spectrum, I would say. It's not, I wouldn't say it's too like concrete, if you will.
Yeah, I gotcha. I just got to PTSD from one of the analogies you just said, like feet first into the deep end. So quick context behind that. I was 7 years old, and my dumbass thought like I could swim in like open ocean water. By the way,
Was this actually ocean? Like ocean water?
Like 100% ocean.
Oh
like,
my god, dude.
So I was in Bermuda visiting family, and
Okay.
my dumbass thought that fucking like everything was like feet. Like wherever you go, like your feet could touch, no matter what. All right. So also to our listeners, I was 7 years old, so
Fair.
don't make fun of me. All right. Don't be like, this guy's a fucking idiot. So I decided to go feet first into this water. Okay. I didn't even make it feet first. I slipped. They had like a slippery deck. I slipped, gashed my knee wide open. All right. 7 years old. I was 7 years old and I had a wedding the next day. So let's just add more fuel to the fire. But I fell. I did not go feet first. Obviously, I fell. I gashed my knee wide open and I just fell into the ocean. Hey, I never had an experience the way I did before. That's why I hate the water. Like if my feet don't touch the ground, that's it. Like I'm
interesting. Fair. Okay.
And I freaked the fuck out. You know, my parents were there, my brother was there, my sister, like my whole entire family was there. And hey, everybody's screaming.
Dude, that's like just aura points just dwindling away. It's just like I don't know. Do y'all know the aura reference? Yeah,
okay. I understand aura, don't worry. I don't have any of it. So I'm freaking the fuck out. I'm freaking out. And like the number one thing you're not supposed to do in deep water is to panic. All right. You never panic in deep water. I had no idea how to swim. My parents never brought me to the Y. They never taught me how to swim. So I'm literally just like, like that. Like, luckily, like, you know, it's funny, but it's also scary at the same time. I almost drowned. My brother luckily saved me. All right. Damn. He saved me. I get out of the water, like my knees fucking all bloodied up and shit like that. My dad gave me my mom was like hysterically crying. My dad was like, "You fucking idiot." And then
classic dad shit.
Oh man. But I remember I was just laying down and I'm just like, I never want to go back in the water. And to this day, I don't do the ocean. I can't. I don't know how to, me personally, like,
I have a phobia of deep.
Running a field service business isn't easy. Between managing your team, your customers, and your bottom line, there's a lot to keep up with. But what if there was a way to make it easier? That's where field service management software comes in. FieldPulse is the field service management platform built for pros like you. Whether you're a small business looking to grow for a larger company ready to scale, FieldPulse has everything you need all in one place, with advanced features for scheduling and dispatching, customer management, estimates and invoices, work order management, maintenance plans, and price booking. What really sets FieldPulse apart is how flexible the platform is. You can build workflows that actually fit on how your team operates, keeping every step organized from the first call to the final invoice. By connecting your field and office teams, FieldPulse keeps everybody in sync, save hours, and gives your business the tools to increase productivity and profitability. And it's not just us saying this. FieldPulse holds a 4.8 star rating across nearly 600 reviews. Thousands of pros are already seeing results, with users reporting an average 78% revenue increase year over year. To see what FieldPulse can do for you, head on over to fieldpulse.com. That's field, P-U-L-S-E, pulse.com.
Anymore. Do you have a phobia of like big, like large objects in deep water? Do you know anybody with like a phobia? Have you ever heard of that phobia?
What, like a blue whale? Like type shit?
Sure. That's a great example. But like, for example, like a sunken ship, bro, like, or like, honestly, growing up around the lakes in northern Wisconsin, I don't know if you guys like grew up going to lakes in Massachusetts. I would imagine there's lakes around you guys probably, but there would be like sunken trees at the bottom of lakes, right? Or like, you know, like different beds of leaves and shit. It would just be the most scary thing. I have no idea why, but like going kind of in like, not like semi-murky water, but like pretty clear, but just kind of dark. And you just see this giant shadow of a tree just lingering and leering over the, you know, where the water drops off. And dude, deep water.
It's scary.
Nope.
It's scary, bro.
Oh,
it's scary. I can't do it.
I actually have I have a drowning story too. When I was like, I actually might have been like 7 or 8, to be honest, but I was saved. I just was dumb. It was in a lake, and everybody was going out to the floaty where you dive off of, like those pontoon things. And I thought my ass could swim, and I had never swam in a lake before. And yeah, I started like going under, and luckily the guys that I was with, one of the younger brothers, picked me up and got me to shore. Stupid. Crazy. I was a little traumatized from that. I'm not gonna lie. For like at least a few years, I was like, damn, I almost drowned. That's actually crazy.
Yeah. Nah, I don't know what I thought about it, but like I literally had like PTSD as soon as you said that. I'm like,
I'm sorry, bro.
yeah, it's all good. It's all good. It's all gravy.
You guys ever
yeah.
watch the videos of like the parents who like train their babies to swim? Like they go to,
they
like,
just
lines-
fucking
They just throw them in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so funny.
What the
It's
fuck?
crazy.
Hey, the first time I saw that, no bullshit. I'm like, this is how they fucking do it. And like, I was like, yo, this is horrible parenting. Why the fuck are they just throwing
It's a real
these fucking
thing.
babies in the pools? And I
Super real.
realized, like, oh yeah, it's a real thing. I'm like, what the fuck, dude?
It's
That's insane.
crazy. It's crazy. But when they get to age 7, they don't have your trauma responses that you got.
Right.
Your trauma
Yep.
story.
All right, thanks, mom and dad, for not throwing me in the water when I was fucking 2 months old. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. You're the best. All right, going back. That was funny. So obviously contractors, they wear a lot of hats, right? And you know what's kind of like for and a guy from your position, what's the hardest part for helping someone change their workflow, right? When they're already like busy, you know what I mean? They have 7 things going on in their head. You're calling them, and you're like, "Oh, hey, do you want to try FieldPulse? Like, you know, one of the top CRMs? Like, who the fuck are you? Like,
Literally.
you know what I mean?
No,
So-
that's not an exaggeration. No, you would absolutely just die laughing at some of the shit that has been said to our BDRs and our AEs.
What's the craziest thing you've
I
heard?
I can't say it. I can't say it.
Oh,
on
damn.
camera. Yeah, it's
Fuck,
bad.
hang on,
I'm
well,
fear.
hang on. We'll bleep it. We'll bleep it. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, off camera, happy to tell you guys, it's crazy. Our sales guys would be happy to. I think we even have. I'm sure we have that call saved because it was like just
Oh my God, I
absolutely
cannot.
historical. No, it's crazy. The most heinous things you can ever imagine. These people have said to our frontline guys, and all the respect in the world to our guys for just taking it with grace. You know,
Taking it on the
honestly,
chin.
dude, that is such a good question because I've literally called people like straight up as we're supposed to meet, as we have a meeting scheduled like that minute. So say it's 11 a.m. I'm calling a guy. He's literally out in the field about to go do a job. And he's like, hey, Wyatt, sorry, you know, I can't make it to this meeting today. We got a couple jobs that we got to take care of. Let's find another time next week or whatever, you know. And I like, there's something just pressing that we absolutely have to get to that he's struggling with. And maybe in a lot of cases we would see, hey, Wyatt, I'm gonna cancel my FieldPulse if this doesn't get resolved, right? So that'd be super common. They don't have time to fuck around. They don't have time to dick around. Like, they want to come in, use their FieldPulse, have it work for them, and go, right? So being super direct, that's the only way. You cannot talk to service businesses, like service owners or trades business owners. You can't beat around the bush. They don't have time. Like, and that's just not how they do business, right? Trades and services and blue collar guys, they work very direct, right? You say what you need, you tell them what needs to be done, and they respect you for it. And if the answer is no, a lot of times they want you. They literally prefer you tell them no rather than, oh, you know what? I actually don't know. Maybe it is. Let me find out. Or like, we can build that out, you know. And they're like, I'd rather you just tell me no. Like, I just need to know, right? So people in my generation, I would say, kind of have difficulty with being super direct. And I mean, maybe it's an everybody thing. People don't want to say how they feel. You know, people don't want to say what needs to be said and what might be uncomfortable, right? So I think oftentimes, if you can just be just brutally honest with these guys that you're working with, right? It goes miles. Like, not only will they respect you for just being super direct and just upfront and solution focused, but they'll also, I forgot where I was going with this. I think I actually covered it. Yeah. They respect you for it. You know, it goes 100 miles and it'll come in full tandem, right? And they'll actually express that interest going forward once you kind of push back a little bit. Like, they want to see what they can get away with too, right? Like, a lot of these guys are real masculine in the trades. Like, these are men, man. You're not talking to little boys. So you just got to be like, hey, what do you need? What do you need it to do? You tell me exactly what you need it to do. I can tell you if it can do that or not do that. and I can see what we can do, right? And it's like, just solution focused, but just get to the nitty gritty, be honest, be transparent, over
Just be
communicate.
real. Yeah.
Just be real.
Being real with them.
Literally
Yeah.
just be real. That's it. It's that simple. And the naturally good things happen I've experienced from that.
Yeah. I guess one thing I'd say too, man, is like my experience kind of with contractors and just people, tradespeople in general, is they're kind of pressed for time. Like you were mentioning, it's like, it's usually sometimes they're a one man band. Maybe they have like an admin or something. They have a bunch of guys working for them. It's like their biggest issue typically is like they're trying to do everything themselves. And like my experience with technology is like it almost gives you another person on your team to kind of
100%.
alleviate some of that stuff that you have to do. You know what I mean? Ultimately. And I feel like that might be one of the benefits of a CRM. It's like, it's not an employee per se, but it's almost like someone who's kind of organizing your shit for you. And that's
Exactly.
honestly, entrepreneurs too, man. I think their mindsets are like, they're kind of creative and they're all over the place to begin with. So if they have someone or something to kind of like help keep
Ground
all their
them,
ducks
maybe.
in a row.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, that's from my perspective, I think like the benefit of it. And honestly, one of the reasons we reached out to FieldPulse in the first place for a sponsorship, because we're like, man, this is something that could really benefit not only contractors, but like tradespeople of all sorts, where it's like they have so much shit going on. If there's one way to kind of help streamline it for them, a piece of technology where it's like you don't have to hire someone for $1,000 a week to do something for you. You get this piece of technology. To your point, it takes time to kind of set it up, but all good things do, man. But if you set it up right from the beginning, the amount of time it saves you down the line, dude,
Huge.
that's
Huge.
worth its weight in gold, right?
100%. And honestly, the way we look at it is, I mean, maybe not if they pay up front for like a whole year, but like honestly, it pays itself off within a month. Typically, what we like to look at as a metric and like KPI for that is we say, okay, say you guys are paying $200 a month. Okay, how many average service tickets are you guys running a week, right? So maybe they're doing 3 a day or 5 a day. So, okay, what's the average, ticket value on each of those service, those service records? So they're saying, oh, maybe, $500. Okay, $1,000 for quick math. So they're running maybe $5,000 a day or whatever, in services, right? So maybe they're profiting $200-300 at the end of the week, after all said and done, which is that's more common than profiting thousands of dollars every week, I'm sure. So, you go from having that kind of, oh, like where am I at for the week? Oh, man, I've done 5 jobs and now I have all this oversight of an organization and I can look and say, well, wait, in January I was doing 5 work orders per week, but now we added another tech and we're branched out to another county because we've got them on the software. And now in February we're doing 7 per week, or per day per week throughout the week. So we're saying we added 2 more jobs. I mean, even one, just depending on some of these guys' average service value, for each ticket, maybe 1 or 2 added jobs will literally pay for FieldPulse. And that does happen quickly because a lot of the times, not like you see, it's very common. These guys are just missing calls because they don't have time, right? That's like one of the most common pain points. So sometimes having a phone system is great. We do have an integrated phone system that they can set up and like port their numbers in. It's fantastic. They absolutely do not have to do that. So just having that platform to take those calls, that incoming volume, and say, shit, I've got a place to put it now. I've got a place to go and track it. It's almost like a game. I had a couple customers that like kind of gamed it and they used their dashboard as like kind of like leveling. And they were like, oh shit, this week my invoice was like this. Next week it was like this. And now I'm like this. I'm like, when am I going to be at this level? So it's, I don't know. It's interesting to see the kind of spectrum of different utilizations of it, from personality to personality, and who extracts the most value, who doesn't really give a shit about it and like uses it in a really kind of simplistic manner, which still great. Love that. But yeah.
Because at the end of the day, as long as it's doing what you need it to do, who's to say what's right and wrong? You know what I mean? People have different familiarities with technology.
That is such a great point, dude. Because like that's one thing that I know FieldPulse really takes pride in, is being fully configurable. Like I will say House Call Pro does have, I think, their own workflows as well. So that's like the ability to customize your job flow from start to finish, right? When that customer first calls the office and tries to schedule an appointment, you've got a whole track of that entire process from A to Z, however complex you want it. Could be 3 steps, like we said, could be 20 steps, so however is best for you to manage your work and run your business, that's what it's there for. And, it can configure to each person. That's honestly what I really like about it, is that you can have a super deep and nuanced workflow with some of these more in the weeds kind of organized guys who really love their data. So they'll have a super nuanced workflow. They'll fall in love with it. They'll spend all day changing their statuses and like sending texts when their statuses change and stuff, like, oh, we're on the way. Automatic text message goes out to the customer. And they love that. Like, they fall in love with all the functionality, versus a guy who might have those text messages set up, but he just sets it up once, never touches it ever again, and is like, new job, on the way, invoiced, complete, and he's done. And he's like, man, I got 4 steps. It is super simple. I love it. It is perfect. Can't tell you how many times I've heard that. And then on the other end too, it's like, oh, I can build this exactly how I want it. I love it. So it's good to capture both sides of those spectrum, or that spectrum.
Yes. Something for everyone, man. And then for people who are just starting, start with something simple. Maybe you have 2, 3, 4 steps to begin with. And then as you kind of adopt the technology and the software, and you're like, oh, hold on, I can add this step here, this step there. It's like anything else in life,
Which
man.
we
It's like
see.
you start small and then you kind of build your way up.
Yeah, exactly. Which we do see. It's really common. Like, you'll start to see these guys really come in, and early on they'll start to kind of really, grasp the features and understand kind of the point of the program, and really the point of consolidating all these things. But then they'll take it a step further. And when you keep meeting with them, you can see the interest continue to peak at different pieces of the software. And I will say that's what's really nice about FieldPulse, is that they don't, and don't get me wrong, Service Titan is fantastic at everything they do and everything that they offer in terms of their features and functionality. But I'm almost certain that it's pretty much an all or nothing subscription. So you pretty much have to go all in, and it's really focused on larger scale, commercial, larger team operations. So maybe like the 20, 30, 40 plus, getting over like the 50 plus commercial guys, maybe like into the hundreds, 200s, 300s. And our really strong focus right now is in we do go into the, the 1-man shops and the 2, 3, 4, 5-man shops. We have a ton of 3 to 5 mans, but our bread and butter is really from the 6 plus within about the 10 to 25, 30 range. It's our bread and butter. And these guys just absolutely love it. And we're finding, we're branching out our commercial side all the time. So it's awesome. And we're finding more and more functionality within that side, which is great. Because we can capture more of the market that way, which is awesome. But no, I think these, seeing these new guys kind of make progress on, like their onboarding, and seeing a new interest each time you meet them. And they're like, oh, I actually found this. And like, I would have some customers that are like, all right, I've got a list of bugs for you to report today. And they're like, all right, I broke this and tried to find all these workarounds. And it's like, I love those meetings. I would absolutely look forward to those meetings every single time. They'd be my favorite. But they kind of just do my job. And it's like, thank you for finding these and troubleshooting and literally writing all this up for me. I'm just going to do my darndest and forward it all up to the right channels. Hands clean.
I love that, man. It makes such an impact in their life too. I think that's why they get so excited, because it's like, wow, this is like really making a difference in my business. I'm making more money. I have more time to spend with my family, or, whatever they want to do with their time, which is kind of why me and Tiago started this podcast in the first place. It's like, we wanted to help people get into the trades. But one of the things we started realizing with that is like, well, there's a lot of things that are going to be barriers to like financial freedom and time freedom. And then one of them is just having the right technology in place, man. And to have something like FieldPulse to just get that time back, and do whatever you want with it, whether it's going to your kid's baseball game or like,
yeah, it could be more work. Yeah, I was gonna say it could be more jobs if you want to continue growing and scaling. That's the piece of the puzzle that it'll fit anywhere. And I think that's what's awesome about it, and it's great to see. What's really cool too is the spread of the types of businesses that are using it. We have obviously your very typical, electrical, HVAC, plumbers, all your typical trades, but on the other side of the spectrum, we've got like crime cleanup crews and like helicopter rental services and like solar sales companies, you know, and like solar installation, garage doors, you know, so any type of service that exists in the ether, in my opinion, if they have a need for scheduling or have customers, there's a benefit on FieldPulse, whether it's, you know, just using that simplistically, you know, no add-ons, you don't need any of the fluff. You know, you can get that real value of just consolidating everything. But no, it's been really cool to see the spread of that too.
I was fucking muted. My bad. I was letting you guys cook.
Oh no, you're good.
So obviously this is Wyatt, we want to thank you a lot, man. You've been absolutely like a fucking like the hype man, you know.
Dude.
You're kind of like you're on the front lines right now. You're repping FieldPulse. You know, FieldPulse. I hope all the FieldPulse employees watch this, right?
Oh
And
no,
like,
God,
wow.
don't do that to me, bro. Oh no.
FieldPulse employees, I hope you're
Man.
listening, right? And watching too on Spotify, YouTube.
Man, you already know Alicia's gonna check it out. Alicia has to watch. She's definitely gonna watch. So
She's watched multiple times, different episodes.
She's gonna
But-
be very proud. She's gonna be very pround, Wyatt. You did
Very
great.
proud. Absolutely. 100% proud. But this is the part of the show where we do like our lightning round. 10 questions. I decided for this one, do a little bit about you, but then also there's a lot going on in this world, right? We just had the Super Bowl not too long ago. The Olympics are happening. NBA All-Star break is finally done. The Grammys happened not too long ago. So, and of course, my favorite topic, AI. So
fun. Cool.
we'll get right into it. I'm gonna ask you. It's a little bit more than 10. You know, are you ready, sir?
Yes.
Are you ready? All right, man.
Let's do it.
Let's fucking do it. Let's fucking do it. Let's see. What is the biggest red flag in a partner? And like a field, and not like a partner, like, you know, like your spouse, but like a partner.
FieldPulse partner.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's such
Biggest
a good
red
question.
flag.
Man, biggest red flag.
So it's on hot, man.
Hesitant,
hot.
I would say hesitant to share data. Hesitant to share like insight to their operation, right? Like we go in real heavy and we're like, hey, we have, you know, so and so many customers. This is exactly who we work with. This is our profile. A lot of people tend to guard it, and I don't blame them, but I will say typically it has been maybe not like the reddest of flags, but I would say if there was one red flag for partnership, dude, partnerships is tough, man. Oof, customers would be easy. Like if you had a customer calling in, you could tell immediately, like by their tone of voice, dude, immediately. You know, not at FieldPulse specifically, but like Cinemark. Oh man, dude, you could tell the bad customers just by the tone of their voice, 100%. So I hope that answers.
That definitely answered. If you can go back and coach your first year at FieldPulse, what is the biggest piece of advice that you can give yourself?
Oh, ask more questions. Be a little more confident in embracing your teammates, because I am surrounded by absolute rock stars. The average age at FieldPulse is 30. Like they're all my age and they're absolute killers. Like literally everybody works like they work like horses, and they live and breathe FieldPulse. And I would wish that I would have fallen into more crowds earlier and befriended more people at FieldPulse and really leaned into all the people's expertise, because there's a lot of tenured folks there who have been there for years, and they know a shit ton, and I could have learned so much faster, but we're here. We made it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. All right, let's see. So obviously, let's see. If you can give every contractor that you personally know or you personally work with a AI assistant tomorrow, okay, what three tasks would you want them to do? Or we can go one task or three. I feel
That's
like
a good ass question. Oh man, dude. So I mean, we want to get to the point where like FieldPulse is like fully AI run, where it's like you tell FieldPulse like, hey, create a purchase order for this, or like schedule a job for this customer, and it just does it. So that would be my one answer. If I could have FieldPulse AI just go in and just run it and just do everything that FieldPulse would do, and they
Yeah.
could just type a prompt like, Chat GBT. That'd be great. But I think, man, I would set every single contractor up with an operator AI phone line, which is our
Okay.
answering service that we built. So immediately, because the number one thing is getting back on leads, maintaining your leads, tracking your leads, but paying somebody half the price that you would pay somebody to answer the phone full time, 9 to 5, which is going to be $50K, $60K for a good person. You're paying $20K for a year max of operator AI, unlimited minutes to have the phones answered 24/7, 365, scheduled jobs, sign. I don't think it assigns, doesn't assign, but it does schedule jobs. Actually, it does assign. It'll assign the text to those jobs. So people wake up with work orders on the schedule. Jobs get scheduled when they sleep. I would say that is the biggest piece of value in the last year that I've seen come up out of like nothing, because obviously AI answering services are everywhere, but having our own inside FieldPulse in the phone system, dude, game changer. They're taking so many like after hours calls. Even if they can get 1 or 2 extra work orders a week from that, game changer.
That's game changing.
Yep.
That's game changing.
100%.
And
it doesn't have to be operator AI. So maybe just an answering service, an AI answering service.
But sounds like legit human and not like an actual robot.
Operator AI is tight. I will say I'm not a huge advocate on like AI replacing humans, but it does keep getting better and better. And I hate to admit that it's really fucking good. Like it's really good.
We don't. This might be AI. Who fucking knows? We don't know.
The world will never know.
Obviously, yeah. So obviously, the Super Bowl happened not too long ago. My beloved Patriots fell down, got spanked by the Seattle Seahawks, but we won't talk about that. However, right? Let's do a little role play, right? It's 4th and 1. You have the biggest client of your life right now. Millions of dollars are on the line. You're about to get your money's worth, right?
About to close the biggest deal.
You're about to close. Thank you. You're about to close the biggest deal of your life. All right. It's 4th and 1. They're like, oh, I don't really know. Like they're on the fence. What is the play?
What's the hang up?
What?
That's exactly what I would say. I mean, first, typically they'd have a hang up. They'd say, "Oh, well, we got to think about it. We got to think about the price." Well, what about the price?
So it's just like
put it on them.
Yeah,
I didn't know if we were like fully role playing here, but I would say, honestly, I see my sales guys just put it back on them. Like the best sales guys in BDRs, like they get those objections, dude. They just throw it right back, and they're like, "So like explain that to me." They're like, what is it about?
Yeah.
Like, what is it? Is it too high? Like, do you not, whatever.
And I feel like you see that a lot in like sales negotiations with anything, no matter what you do, whether it be like a contractor going for an estimate or you're working with a customer. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, the price point will always be the biggest factor. And then how people react to it makes or breaks the deal. So that's why it's great to like be like, just keep pressing the matter, but there must be a fine line where you don't want to overstep. You don't want to force.
I was naturally just thinking exactly into that flow. I was like, at the same time, on the same edge of that, I'm like, you want to be courteous, right? And you at least want to be respectful of that decision, right? Like, hey, I don't want you to feel pressured. I don't want you to feel like I'm like pushing to make a sale here. I want to make sure this is a fit. And I want you to feel like this is a fit too, right? Like these are just conversations that these guys have had with, these types of objections and being around it. I mean, the end of it, like a lot of the things that you learn from these sales guys' conversations, it's like, it's not rocket science. They're really honest. They're really direct. And they find a way to care about it. Right. And you put some genuine care into it and you do it the right way. You try to make it a genuine fit. And like we said, doing it with integrity, being honest, usually the right things tend to fall in place. I'm sorry. These are not lightning answers.
They're not lightning questions either. I'm kind of asking like,
no, these are great though. These are great.
If you had, so obviously the Winter Olympics are happening currently. What is your gold medal skill at FieldPulse that most people don't see?
and that don't see. Could it be like a skill like outside of work or like in like something I use at FieldPulse?
Yeah, sure. Let's go with that. I guess a gold medal. What's your gold medal? That's it. How about that, Wyatt? What's your gold medal that people don't see? What people don't know?
Man, I don't know. It's hard. I'm gonna go. Can I go outside FieldPulse?
Yes.
Okay. I would say basketball. I'm like oddly really, really good at basketball. I've played basketball my whole life, and I just
Are we talking Are we talking G League? Like G League basketball? Can you can you go to the G League?
There's levels to this
Yes
shit,
or no?
man. Dude, nah, I don't. Okay, look. It's that classic. Like, man, if I would have put in the time, if I would have taken it serious, but for real though, honestly, I was really fortunate to meet a really big player that came from the Frisco area. Actually played 4 years in North Carolina, not UNC. He played at UNCG, second best school in North Carolina, still D1. So he played 4 years D1, graduated from Frisco High here, played a couple years overseas, and then moved back. Ended up kind of being like not really fun, like being in love with basketball after that point. So he ended up finding his own like separate stuff to do. But I befriended him. I met him at like the athletic center here, and you got to imagine me, dude, coming from small town Wisconsin. Like I'm like, yeah, I could shoot and like I can dunk, and I'm pretty athletic. Like I'm 6 feet, 155 pounds, so I'm real skinny. I'm real lean, athletic, springy, but like 6 foot, not dummy athletic. Like I'm not jumping out of the gym, but
yeah,
coming down here to Texas with these guys, you got your average point guard was like 6'2", 6'3", and these guys are 170, beefy, dunking everything, doing crazy layups. And like I came down here when I was 18 and started playing with that, and I had to adapt, right? So after meeting this guy, after meeting my buddy, ended up playing with a lot of different good groups, and I would constantly ask him like, bro, how good am I actually? Like, how good? Like, do you think I could play D1? Blah, blah, blah. And like, he would constantly tell me, he'd be like, dude, I'm telling you, your strap is your best. Like your jump shot is your best. Like your shot is the best part of your game. But he was saying, he's like, I've played with guards at the D1 level that you are better than. And he was like, I'm telling you right now. He's like, if you enrolled, he was like, you could redshirt and you could play. He's like, I don't know if it'd be like a big school, but he was like, you could definitely play D3. You could maybe play D1. And I'm like, I will take that to my grave. This guy was 6'8". He was like a stretch. It's like a stretch 3, right? So he's like 6'8". This dude's, he kind of played down low, but like he was like a mid-range stretch kind of big, right? So he was not super quick, but man, footwork and handles, and like, he's 6'8". He's going to shoot right over you every time. Dude had a strap, bro. Absolutely insane. So like, I come from playing with those types of guys. And like, honestly, so Javante McCoy, who's in the league right now, is actually from Frisco. He was one of our other buddies that used to play with us. He's in the league right now. I think he might even be on G League, but he was 6'5". So he would come in, just jumping up and just grabbing rim with both hands and just doing 2-hand dunks like nobody's business. And like, I'm over here exerting every bit of possible effort I could ever have to just get a layup, and like, don't get me wrong, bro. I was nice. I am nice. But like, dude, the commitment that it takes, the physicality, I really don't think I think I would have gotten injured before I got to the level where I was ready, to compete. But I just don't think it was meant for me. I don't think I was meant to play ball. I was meant to play it for fun, but
yeah.
Getting old now, dude. I'm sore if I go run and play. Like I do play like 3-4 times a week. I actually just went and shot around before this, right after work, right before this recording. Yeah, I was just shooting around for a little bit, but yeah, 100% basketball by far. Nobody knows. Like nobody's seen me play. I'm not gonna lie, bro. I would torch everybody at FieldPulse. There's maybe one or two people that are actually. So we have a D1. We have a couple D1 football players that are sales guys. So like we got one of our guys, Hilbert, he was on UNT. He played for UNT. Like dude's like 6'3", 200 pounds. I'm sure he can dunk, so I'm like, he might be nice at basketball, but like I'm not gonna lie, people at FieldPulse know I've said this like during when I transitioned from CS into the partnerships team. we were all going around. The whole sales cohort was like 40 people. They were all going around saying things like that you're good at, or like something that you're good at that no one would expect. And I was like, I'm low key really nice at basketball, and I would torch anybody one-on-one. I would shoot anybody in a shooting contest, whatever. I don't know. It's like my one thing that I have an ego with, but you know,
I love that, man. That's awesome. That's fucking awesome.
love hooping,
dude.
bro.
It's not an ego if it's true though.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's that when I say what I just explained to you guys, I can't help but feel that like, oh yeah, if I didn't break my ankle in, you know, college, I would have gone pro, you know, type thing. But it's like that cliche, like, yeah, my glory days are behind me. But
Let's see. You go to a gas station. You just pick it up a snack, right? What's your go-to snack and go-to drink of choice?
bro,
You gotta choose one.
all right,
one of each.
go to snack is gonna be, dude. Right now, honestly, it's been weird. I've been dabbling into like back into Lay's potato chips a little bit. Like everybody has their spurts, right? Like everybody eats chips, but like, dude, lime Lay's, I'm addicted to, bro. For some reason, I have no idea why.
Lime.
Every time I go into the gas station, like I have a 7-Eleven literally around the corner, so it's lime chips. So I usually get 2 bags. I'll get like something kind of neutral, like Smart Pop, like the Smart Food popcorn, like the white cheddar. So it's just kind of savory, good snack, and then I'll get something like spicy, like, you know, dude, the dill pickle hot Cheetos. I hate to admit, they're actually really good. I know that's crazy to say, but they're actually really good.
I don't fuck with hot Cheetos or pickles. So
Oh, dude, yeah, no, you'd hate them. You'd absolutely hate them.
yeah, I hate both. I hate both of them respectfully.
Damn, dude, like that must suck. I know, like people always talk about dill pickles because like I'm not a huge dill pickle guy by any means. Like I don't eat pickles like a lot of people do, but like,
Yeah.
damn, bro, you don't like pickles
Yeah.
at all?
No. I
Shit.
do not fuck with pickles, bro.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't like pickles on sandwiches or anything. Like I don't. I do everything plain for the most part.
I can't. I don't know how people could just like take out a pickle from a jar and just fucking casually eat it.
Oh, I can do that.
That's just disgusting, bro. Just disgusting.
Pickled anything
Well,
else, bro. I'm all.
Well, what about drink? Go to
So,
drink. You ever go to drink?
Yeah, I'd say like. I mean, my go-to soda is like Coke Zero, but I don't get it from like the gas station. Man, probably A&W cream soda.
Oh,
Cooked.
oh,
Dude, zero sugar
my
though. Zero
God.
sugar. Zero sugar though.
It
gotta
doesn't
be.
matter. It does not matter.
No A&W?
No.
You don't like root beer?
No.
Cream soda?
No.
Alex, back me up here, man.
I mean, I don't mind a root beer or cream soda, but I also don't mind pickles. So, I mean, I feel like I'm kind of a little contrarian.
We're
here.
both insane to Tiago, bro. We are just both disgusting.
I knew Alex was insane even way before I met him. So it's
Okay,
all
well, I have to ask though. Well, what about y'all? I mean, I'm curious.
good. Oof, Alex, you can go ahead. Because
I mean, dude, you guys are going to hate my answers. I'm super boring. If I go to a gas station, I'm grabbing a water. Honestly, I'm that guy. I'm going to grab a water.
I usually
dude. I'm
am,
gonna
dude. I
grab...
get like the practical shit in my old age. I'm like, as I get older.
Wait, what kind of water though? Are we talking like Fiji, smart with the pH in it?
Honestly,
what are you feeling?
I lean more Fiji, but like I'm not super
Fiji's
bougie,
good.
man. I'll just kind of grab something. I usually go for more for size. I'm like a bit like I need
Dude,
like a
this is
big thing
the,
of water. Yeah.
This is the Texas special, man. Ozarka spring water. That's like if you're people born and raised in Texas, that's like their thing. It's like the Arrowhead for everywhere else.
This is Massachusetts water right here.
Yup,
This is
there
the
you
greatest
go.
water on Earth.
Yup,
On
dude.
Earth, on planet Earth. brother.
Spring water all day, bro. I'm a
All day.
big spring
All
water
right,
guy.
so Fiji water because Alex is bougie. What kind of snack, Alex? What, you grabbing an apple or something?
No, I won't do apple. Honestly, it depends. Like if it's like a road trip or if it's just like a casual drive. I feel like I go more like peanuts, almonds, like that. Something like kind of salty, like a sort of like a something like that. That's usually kind of like my go-to for sure.
Yo, your answers are boring as fuck. Anyways,
it's my truth, bro. It's my truth.
Anyways, I'm starting off, right? I gotta do for drink, I gotta do the Mountain Dew Baja Blast, right? Mountain Dew Baja Blast crisp. And then if I'm going to Cumberland Farms, I'm grabbing a gagger. I'm grabbing like a fucking hot dog.
Okay.
You know, they
Glizzy.
call it
Yep.
gag. Yeah, they call it.
They call it
glizzies,
gaggers up there? That's crazy,
Yeah.
bro. That's insane.
Yeah, I learned that one from my brother. He's like, I remember one time I went to this like hot dog place at a job site around the corner, and he was like, "Hey T, you want to grab a couple gaggies?" And I'm like, I swear to God,
Dude,
hot dog. Hey,
dude,
in
I've never
Boston,
heard that before.
in Boston, I've heard that multiple times in Boston. Like, you want to grab a couple gaggers? Like, I'm like, what?
Bro, my teammate, my like partner on my team, she knows what I do for a different vertical, like buyer influence, like marketplace shit. She's from Boston. She's from I think she actually lives in Massachusetts.
Yeah, are you gonna ask her?
I'm gonna have to now. Like,
she's gonna be like, I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
She's
Who
like,
are these built to rise guys?
yeah, she's like, this is a partner of ours.
All right. So a Baja Blast, and then if I'm getting like a snack, not like a food, because hot dogs.
Roller dogs are classic. You always got
roller dogs are always classic. Yeah, but you gotta put potato sticks on it. You put ketchup, mayo.
Are those like shoestring potatoes, like the little sticks?
No, like the sticks. Yeah, the sticks. You know, the little.
I know.
skinny
Yeah,
ones,
little thin.
they're
they're like little chips. But they're
like toothpicks. Yeah, like
hell
toothpicks.
yeah. Yep, those are gas.
That's my hot dog of choice. But if I'm grabbing like snack, it's fucking Chips Ahoy, the chunk ones though, not the soft.
Do you get?
Fuck
Oh,
the
so you get the like the
I get the
crunchy
brown,
ones.
the brown. Yeah.
Gotta
Yeah.
get.
Oh,
Oh, you get the chunk, real chunk, not the blue bag.
Yeah. No.
Okay. See, I fuck with the blue bag. 'Cause
I-
it's classic, but like the brown is the chunk. You're right. There's big chocolate in there. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Fuck soft. All right. That shit's
gross, bro. That
disgusting as
red
all
bag
hell.
is gross. I used to like
It's
those in like
disgusting
grade
as all
school and
hell.
high school. Ugh. Nope.
If it's there, I'll eat it. You know, obviously, but
Just let it get stale.
no.
It'll be nice. It'll be basically the same shit.
All right. Last dab. Here we go. Last one for the day. And Wyatt, we want to thank you again for being on. You've been absolutely fucking fuego.
Appreciate
All right.
you.
One habit that you would tell a 25-year-old to start now if they want to be dangerous in their whatever career that they want to do in by the time they reach 30 or within the next 5 years or something.
Fall in love with the basics. Fall in love with the basic mundane shit that you have to do every single day, whether it's just waking up and brushing your teeth, whether it's at home or in the office or at the shop. Falling in love with the shit that you hate, right? You know, changing your perspective, right? And that comes with age, right? I feel like most guys when they hit our age, like, or my age at least, they're starting to come into that mental maturity where they're like, man, if I actually like change this habit, it'll reflect in work and like maybe into my relationship as well, which is, you know, you wouldn't think that way at 18, you know, never. So I think, man, just using myself as an example, I'd say, dude, fall in love with the things that you think are boring. Fall in love with the things that you hate to do at work. And it's like, just try to rewire your brain a little bit, you know, and just things that you are maybe dreading or struggling with. Man, people would be so like people in all sorts of different places throughout the world, maybe even in the US, would be grateful to experience or to have that as their burden, right? So, I mean, having a little perspective goes a long way, and it's hard to maintain it. It's really difficult for, I don't know, me personally, maybe, but to kind of maintain that fresh perspective. Yeah, I would do 25 is a good age. Man, if I knew that at 21, if my 26-year-old self came back and said, hey, maybe like stop doing the things that you know make you tired and irritable and, you know, staying up late and eating junk food, you know, maybe start working out, maybe go to bed a little bit earlier, you know, maybe make some of those boring decisions, but they're in the long run, you're going to be thankful you did, you know, 100%.
100%, brother. I love that. All right, the floor. This is the part where we kind of give you the floor, Wyatt. You know, anything you want to add, mention, plug. The floor is yours, buddy. Go right ahead.
Coming by FieldPulse. We want you. We want to work with you in your business. We want to bring you into the family. We want to make you feel loved and supported, and we want to put a modern spin on a business and an industries that are not going anywhere, and people are. It's a pendulum, in my opinion, that swings, right? The trades are coming back in fashion, and they're mainstream again, and young men are trying to be plumbers and whatnot. But I would say fall in love with those basics. Maybe get a little bit of FieldPulse action in there. It might help with the organization and the efficiency aspect of it. But no, I really do appreciate you guys putting this on. You guys had some fucking killer questions, dude. Not that I wasn't expecting some banger questions, but I was just, dude, perfect questions, perfect fit. Absolutely loved it. I'm really grateful for you guys putting this on and having me on and giving me your guys' time. And I really would like to stay in touch and hopefully kind of shoot the shit going forward. And I would imagine we could probably do this every day for the rest of our lives, and I'm sure we would never run out of stuff to talk about. So
Probably not.
it's always, man. It's
Alex.
the boys, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Alex, anything you want to add, buddy?
No, man, I'm just thank you to Wyatt. Thanks for coming on, man. This has been a real pleasure. FieldPulse has been really good to us, so we definitely want to give a spotlight to them. Tell all the people out there about the good stuff you guys are doing. I think a lot of the people in the trades just don't yet recognize how important CRM is, how important it is to have technology on their side. So hearing it from the guy who's in it and working with these guys every single day, it's just we appreciate what you do, man. We appreciate all helping all the brothers out there in the trades and the women out there in the trades too. So
dude, I will.
Yep,
I was gonna say, yep. I definitely, majority male run, but I will say, dude, all the office admins that make those shops function, man, they are just boss. They're boss brats. I don't want to swear. I don't want to put a bad name on their mouth or anything, But no, they're no, they're just we have some absolute tenacious ladies in our office too. I mean, they just fit right into that trades thing, and they're it's not all bark no bite, So, but no, I'm really grateful for you guys kind of putting this type of platform together to to provide that opportunity for these voices to come together and make that translation from software guy to trades guy to podcast guy, So very grateful.
And let's just put the camera on me real quick. Everybody, this is Charlie, my golden. He's definitely have grown up. Charlie, you want to say hi? This is, if you want to follow him, it's at the Boston Golden on Instagram.
I'm gonna give that a follow right now.
Plugging him up, dude.
Just plug it up.
Dude, my entire feed is just Goldens. It's just all Goldens. Like,
this is my best friend. This is my best friend. All right, get down. I gotta close it out. Bud. All right, come on. All right. What? I cannot thank you enough for coming on. Taking time out of your day to do this, man. You've been an absolute stud of a guest, and I thank you so much, Alex. I want to also thank you for being my partner in crime. You've been absolutely a man on a mission with this shit. I miss you. I wish I can go to San Diego right now, but it's just too cold. I gotta accept the chaos here of the coldness. So
yeah, there you go.
I gotta,
dude, full circle, embracing the chaos. I love it.
I gotta hold it down here. But Wyatt, thank you again so much. Alex, thank you again. Guys, this has been the Build to Rise podcast. I'm Tiago. That's Alex. That's Wyatt. We'll see you guys next time.
Thank you, gentlemen.